are some of the challenges that Cow-op faces?
Cow-op? Well, Cow-op faces a number of challenges. As I said, it's been around since 2014. And it's grown a lot since the pandemic. Like a lot more customers came on board with Cow-op because we started offering home delivery. And I think just the change in world events has made people more and more willing to, or not just willing, I think it's really brought home to people how important their actions are. How they can contribute to solutions, to the climate crisis, to social crisis of injustice, but also like COVID-19 scared a lot of people and made them reevaluate what they really value, reassess what they value. And so we benefited from the pandemic actually. Cow-op grew, like tripled in volume in 2020. And that presented us with all kinds of challenges because we're a small crew. We didn't have the staff that we needed to handle this amount of volume. We quickly needed to implement home delivery, which was a big step up. Prior to that, Cow-op had only been available by pickup, so customers would have to go and pick up their order and bring it home. Then with the home delivery, that just introduced all these logistical challenges that, as a cooperative, we were all kind of flying by the seat of our pants. As a board, the board was meeting frequently, many times throughout the week in 2020, which was a change from our regular monthly meetings that were sort of boring. Now all of a sudden we were putting out fires constantly, dealing with new urgent situations, staffing, delivery vehicles, buying totes, staffing, but it was all very exciting because our orders were going up and up and up, and so we were making money. For the first time in like early 2021, the board realized this could become $1 million business. We're moving a lot of product.
I do hear a lot of feedback from farmers in the position I hold. It's really good because it's a very open line of communication, and we've been very clear about that with Cow-op from day one, is that we're kind of all in this together, and the big fluctuations and the big challenges you're having, we're probably having across everyone. So it's really kind of nice. I often joke we're mental health support. And when that really came to fruition is during the floods. And we told people, hey, we're just mental health support for a lot of the farmers that are going to drop off to us in the next couple of days. Same thing with the heat wave last year, when the farmers, ahead of that time, we really talked about it amongst the team and said, just a heads up, a lot of these farmers may have lost a lot of livestock overnight. They could be really, really upset. So we're mental health support this week. And so we treated it like that and just let people talk to us and let the farmers get it out. Often they need that and they don't have anywhere else to put it, so.
Find that working in close proximity with climate crisis takes a toll on you or the team with Cow-op?
I would say there is certain times when you really do see it. Like I said, the flood certainly affects, the effects of climate change really, really come to fruition at that point through the flood, through the heat. We really do hear about it from the farmers a lot, and it's nice that they have a spot they can speak freely and feel comfortable talking to people that I'm not a farmer. I always joke that, the executive director, Derek, is the farmer of, in our team more than I am, right? I'm more of the business side and things, but it's really interesting to see how those fluctuations actually affect us day to day and affect what's being grown or what can't be grown or what got lost because of the heat or what produced really well because of the heat. It was a very interesting thing to see.
My landlord's trees.
And they're going to get composted?
Yeah, because they halfway died with that heat dome last year. Oh, that heat dome was brutal.
Tell me more about what it was like for you.
It got 49.6 degrees here outside the greenhouses. Like, this is a really hot area. And All my crops, they didn't die, but they just stopped. Like my tomatoes stopped ripening, and yeah, things just sat there for about 6 weeks afterwards. It was brutal. Yeah, still recovering from that. This is my poo that I'm composting. So I get it from the neighbors, and then I pour EM into it and tarp it until it's ready to go.
What is EM?
Oh, effective microorganisms. So it's probiotics for your plants, basically. Makes them super healthy, able to take up more nutrients.
What are some of the challenges that have come up for Cow-op since you've been part of the team?
Well, challenges have been COVID. And so there was like a lot of logistical challenges. So COVID's definitely part of that. Weather-related challenges have been a huge part of that. I mean, we had the atmospheric rivers over the fall, and that affected our producers greatly. It was hard and sad to understand how real people are affected by climate change and how their farms are affected by it. And so the atmospheric river is just one small portion of that. And then over the summer before was the heat waves and just feeling the pain people felt losing their animals and their crops and their field. We just got, over the winter we got dumped on with a huge snowstorm, and I literally couldn't deliver groceries, or I couldn't deliver people's orders on Thursday, like one week. That was really hard too. So it's been really eye-opening just and humbling, just remembering how affected we are by the climate around us.
Is that, this isn't a good place? This isn't a good place? The downside?
Yeah, just trying to get.
Yeah, there was a moment when it was like a little too bright. Yeah, is that's what you want? Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
I saw in your eyes.
Yeah.
It's gonna be.
Yeah.
Moving too?
But do it, make it whatever's right, and then if I look too awkward, just like dim it a little bit, right? Yeah.
The pandemic has obviously been both a blessing and a curse for Cow-op. Could you just sort of touch on what it's been like to be trying to service people and adjusting your sort of flow or your expectations every couple of weeks as provincial health orders change or whatever?
Yeah, totally. And like you say, a big blessing and a curse. I mean, it's changed everyone's lives like globally over the past couple of years. But for us at the Cow-op, like it just, was a huge boom to the number of sales, which again, like presented a bunch of challenges with how to adapt to that. But really the increase in sales was helping us, was helping all the farmers having more greater outlet for their products. And yeah, I mean, like you say, week to week, things can shift. Different provincial guidelines are changing. We see that, people might be more comfortable to go to a grocery store, maybe sales will drop, and then when more restrictions are in place is often when we've noticed greater sales. But we've been trying to really, I think, decouple from that a bit as well and allow people to see the value in shopping both locally and easily online, and being able to maintain that throughout their life, beyond the pandemic as well.
Of course, buying local and makes our food system here on the island more secure. And we're hearing so much about supply chain issues right now, and I mean, the biggest supply chain issue is can I drive the van to our customers' houses? I mean, that's a very small perspective of it, but we're a little more insulated from some of the bigger picture supply chain issues, and building that resilient community and food system is really important, and Cow-op's playing a big part in that.
I think about, for going this past year, and the weather, climate change alone, it's causing so many struggles that were not an issue to local produce farmers 5 years ago, and suddenly we're all having to figure out how we're not only going to farm things, but now we're having that thrive in our climate, but all of a sudden our climate is changing in radical ways, and our crops are not doing as well. We have, and so having to have like a community of people whose goals are all shared or aligned to be able to help each other, to learn from where it's not competitive. I think that's the big thing about it. It's not competitive. And we all just want to make sure that we are being able to do something that for many different reasons, maybe that we love and they're important to us. Yeah, and get to have conversations and learn about why we might want to grow this instead of that, like how it benefits things in ways that we may not have necessarily thought about in the past. But yeah, it's not cutthroat. I mean, it's like I don't have to worry about the way that it's been farmed, whether labor has been exploited. I don't like. There's just things that I rather pay a little bit more for to have that shared sense of responsibility towards our neighbors than, and that's a position of privilege as well, right? Like that's me being privileged, being able to afford the extra couple dollars for milk every week or whatever it is, right? But it's still, at least if I participate, then hopefully enough people will participate where costs will come down and more people will be able to help and find solutions where produce that even still might go to waste, like how can we reclaim that, and having diverse voices in it and helping to solve problems that affect, especially in the Cowichan Valley, there's a lot of food insecurity.
I want people to be able to grow food and make a living. Like a good living. Like I want to live in a world where people can be producers, farmers, and food processors and be able to also like live their lives in a really in a really comfortable way. Like I don't want to think like that farmers should have to struggle because they've chosen this career path. So a lot of times you hear about farmers living below the poverty line, even here in North America, and that seems just seems unreal to me. Like this is the biggest part of our lives. Like food is a huge part of our lives, and it would be nice if we were able to support our local food and farmers and food processors in a way that they can have stable income and lives.
Talking about a really bleak time of life and like the idea of like seeding and hope, and a lot
Yeah.
of the conversations we've been having have been like, how do we survive?
Yeah, I mean, it's,
and this is
yeah.
a beautiful image of that.
Yeah, it's, we witness little miracles every day, which is important because there's a lot of other hardships that come with farming. But yeah, you know, we provide the right kind of environment as best we can for plants and animals to thrive, and the rest is out of our hands.